I've had people be like, oh yeah, I booked this and this and this, but I haven't done my venue. And I'm like, what?
But then again, the people who are spending $200,000 on a wedding, they probably don't care.
We're lucky that we got to experience both sides from something that we were both familiar with growing up, and actually seeing that blend, that unison between our families is a really beautiful thing.
Because we film so many weddings, we shoot so many weddings, the number one topic of discussion is, hey, we can't let that person sit next to there. And hey, my stepdad can't know that this person's coming. Most people don't know this, but when you have an Indian wedding, like, you're expected to pay for the accommodations.
I say, I'm Indian and I'm proud.
I'm Indian and I'm proud. This week, we're going to be talking about why Indian weddings are so expensive. I mean, seriously, a typical Indian wedding costs between $120,000 and $300,000. What? We Indians hate spending money on things, but weddings, go spend all the money you can. This doesn't make sense to me, so let's get into this, Half Past Crew. Welcome to
Half Past Job.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Half Past Jaw. We're your hosts. My name is K2.
My name is Hallie.
And if you can't already tell, we are a married interracial couple, and that's what we talk about in this podcast. We talk about being an interracial couple. We talk about relationships in general, and we get questions from you because you guys go to www.halfpastchai.com where you submit your own questions and stories. We release new podcast episodes every single Monday at 7 a.m. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Like this video. Also, if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can give us 5 stars and follow the pod. That helps a lot for the algorithm to push our podcast out. Half Past Crew, settle in, get cozy, and grab your job.
We're not frauds today, everybody. We got some goodies. We got it.
Listen to that. So good. I don't know what it is about chai, but it's the best thing to ever exist in the world.
You think so?
I think so. That's why this name, Half Past Chai, is so amazing.
It's also been a few days since we've had it. Yeah. Sometimes when I go a few days without making it, I kind of lose my chai spark and it's not as good. Today it's pretty good, I would say. Usually I've been like a few days without it. Also, we did not mention that you're super Indian and I'm super white. And that's just wrong to me. I just think we need to bring that back right now. Yeah,
Hallie's super duper white and I'm super duper Indian. Well, not really that super duper Indian, but I am Indian. And that's why we're talking about Indian weddings today and why they're so expensive compared to American weddings.
You are what you believe. Don't let anyone tell you different. I'm
Indian enough.
I'm Indian and I'm proud.
I'm Indian and I'm proud.
Thank you. Slay.
We are going to be giving you some information about Indian weddings, how much they cost.
The down low.
How much weddings cost. We're going to go into a lot of the compare and contrast of Indian weddings versus American weddings. What is contained within an Indian wedding? So if you don't even know what an Indian wedding is, like, this is okay. We're going to explain exactly what happens during it, why it's so expensive. And then we're going to go into some of the pros and cons of all of this.
So our credentials are that we've had both. We had an American style wedding. We had an Indian style wedding. And it's funny. We wanted to talk about this because we've had so many people ask us. One, of course, with Suketu being the financial guy that he is, people are like, oh my gosh, isn't that really expensive? The number one question that people who aren't familiar with Indian weddings ask, they're always like, oh my gosh, was it a week long? I'm like, well, like, kind of. We condensed it a little bit. Everyone kind of does it differently, especially if you're here in the US. If we would have done it in India, it's a whole different situation. But again, during COVID, just wasn't possible. But we wanted to talk about this because we thought it was relevant. We've obviously done episodes talking about the breakdowns of our weddings, but we wanted to do an episode more like this where we really describe the differences between them, and also just a newer episode so that you guys can watch and refer back to and share with people.
I have some numbers. You guys ready for this?
This is like a shocking episode, everybody. Let's get into it.
So let's just forget about America for a second and think about India. If you have a wedding in India, like, let's say you're from here, you're going over to India and you're getting married, that's going to cost you $38,000 to $42,000 US.
Just for traveling?
No, that's just that's a wedding in India.
Oh, like the full wedding.
Full wedding. All right. That's how much it costs. But listen, an average wedding in America, like an American wedding, is $33,000. So it doesn't matter that you go to India. It's still more expensive to have an Indian wedding in India. Now let's come to America. We're having an Indian wedding in America, all right? This is the minimum 2 days. You can have a 2-day ceremony where it's like you get the Mehndi day, and then you have the BT, which is like the Haldi event, and then the next day is the actual ceremony and reception.
Sangeet, you forgot about that?
Well, that's a whole nother game.
Okay.
If you 3-day events are a different thing. So 2 days.
We'll break it down.
The average 2-day Indian wedding is $66,000.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S. That's the average. That means people who are having $20,000 weddings, who are eloping, that counts within it. And that is also people who are having those $300,000 weddings. Ooh. Now, the actual median cost. So this is what I think a typical Indian wedding actually costs in the U.S., which is usually 2 to 3 days. The low end, $120,000, and on the higher end, $300,000. The typical Indian wedding in America costs between $120,000 and $300,000.
What?
And this sounds crazy, but I'm going to share the craziest statistic that we have found, which is the Ambani wedding.
Oh my gosh, don't even.
This is an Indian wedding that lasted about a week in India, and they are like the richest people in India. Their wedding, this guy's wedding, was $600 million, which is 10,000 times the average cost of a wedding.
Only 10,000 times more casual.
Like, you can't even comprehend that. Like, that, I don't even know how I can process that kind of money just being like, okay, it's gone forever. Never going to see that money again.
So are they the richest family in India?
Yeah.
Okay, so they can just drop 600 million on a
billions of dollars. So
honestly, from a couple's perspective, imagine putting that much money towards a wedding. How can it be that good? What are you doing for 600? What is it? You said $600 million?
$600 million.
What are you doing for that?
They're just having a lot of famous people come.
What the hell are you doing for that?
I don't know.
What? Why? Put that towards going on a nice vacation, or maybe they have so much money it doesn't matter, but that is insane. I also think it would be interesting for us to talk about conversion. We can talk about this in a little bit, but how much our weddings cost here and how much they would cost in India.
That's kind of what I explained at the very beginning. Like, if we had the same wedding style that we had here, which our wedding was right around
3 days. Was it 3 days?
It was about 3 days.
Yeah.
But I think the total cost of our wedding was a little over $60,000
for
both weddings. So
in 2021,
this is in 2021, and like my parents had half of the payments, and then my Hallie's parents had the other half. So it's like that's the only way it worked, because there's no way a $60,000 wedding can just happen like that with one set of parents.
I mean,
well,
there are some weddings that we've seen and been to, and we're like,
yeah,
jaw on the floor. This is crazy. It's beautiful. How?
Our parents aren't like the richest people in the world, so I also wanted to make sure that it made sense to what we were asking for whenever we were doing this whole process. So this was the cheapest we could get it, which is kind of crazy.
We were so fortunate that we had everything we wanted.
3 days.
It was perfect.
3 full days.
I wouldn't do anything differently. It was perfect. Did you think so?
I think it was perfect. We had on Thursday, we had Mehndi night and Garba.
And PT.
And PT on Thursday. Oh, and the rehearsal dinner on Thursday.
Yeah, so we had a very full schedule for the weekend.
And then the Friday, we had the Christian wedding. So it was fully like the ceremony and then the reception on that Friday. And then on Saturday, it was the full Bharat with the Indian ceremony. And then we had the reception at the night. So that all happened within 3 days. And that cost over $60,000.
And we had for Indiana too, I would say the cost of maybe other places is a little bit lower compared to your bigger cities like Chicago, LA, Atlanta, New York, blah, blah, blah.
We had so much help from family too.
My gosh,
like, there was we have a lot of Patels that helped out with accommodations for relatives coming over here. And that was a huge part of us saving so much money. But I think there's just so much to it. The number one cost being the amount of people.
Yeah.
We invited over 300 people to the Indian wedding.
So let's break that down a little bit, because obviously for Garba night and the BT and the rehearsal dinner, we didn't have that many people. I would say that was pretty immediate family. And that was the day that family really started to come in from out of town. So they were staying places. So that was a paying for accommodations. And again, had so much help from family and family friends that they made that process really easy and really helped us out there. So that was huge because we had a lot of people from out of town come in.
Most people don't know this, but when you have an Indian wedding, like you're expected to pay for the accommodations. Like usually you have this, like on the like American weddings, you have the knot, and on the knot it'll tell you this is the hotel. You go pay for it yourself. No, that's not how it works in the Indian culture. We will pay for you to come here and stay at this hotel. Like we will pay for all of that. We will pay for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Hospitality.
And that's just how I've always seen it done. Maybe that's not how it works in every family, but that's how I've seen it happen. And so that is a huge, massive expense. And then you get the events. You got the engagement. That's not even happening within this time, but you got the engagement ceremony. We didn't even do one of those.
We didn't.
You have the mehndi. You have the sangeet, which is the mehndi is like where you get all the henna on your hands and feet sometimes even. Then you got the sangeet. This is where you do dances for the family. It's a whole production. Then you get the wedding ceremony. You got the reception. You have these welcome parties, and then you have the after parties, and then you have the brunch after the wedding. These are so many things involved in an Indian wedding.
Weddings in general are just so stressful, and honestly, looking at this list that we have is like so crazy to me. I do want to point out one thing that we did is the mehndi was for mainly close-ish family or like anybody that wanted it. I've been to some weddings where they have it at the sangeet or like earlier in the day and like anyone can get it, whatever, but anyone can get it. That sounded funny. Anyways, I'm sorry. Not anyone can get it. Anyone who wanted mehndi can get it done. So that's what we did. And then I also want to point out that the sangeet, we didn't really have one of those. We had garba night where like everyone just did garba. We didn't have any choreographed dances on that Thursday night, but we did kind of combine it with the reception. So we kind of did everything at the Indian reception.
So the sangeet for us was the Indian reception. That's just what it would have been. In like sometimes they separated out the day prior to the wedding, but it's very uncommon now. They just do it during the reception and then lengthen the reception a little bit just for that.
And this is a very condensed timeline of what we did. If we had gotten married in India, it would be very, very different.
Mm-hmm. It would have been 5 days in India. We would have fed the entire village. It's about 1,000 to 2,000 people in our village. And this is what happened for all three of my sisters. We went to India. We fed the whole village multiple days, and we had to accommodate everybody and if anybody came over from overseas, from different countries, we had to accommodate that person to be able to stay there. And that's expensive. So even with all of that, I think the average cost of each of my sister's weddings was a little over 30 grand. Like it's expensive even in India. I mean, if you include the ticket costs, that's 40 grand right there. It's $10,000 to get over there if there's 6 people.
But the scale of things it was so much bigger in India, right? Like you just said, for example, you had the whole village. How many people are in the village?
There's about 1,000 to 2,000, and sometimes an extra 1,000 will just show up for free food.
And so fair. We've done that, have we not?
Yes, we have.
But I mean, just think about that. If you compare here to there, at our wedding, for the Christian wedding, we had 200 people.
We had 200 people
because that was the cap. That was like the max we had at the venue that we were at, right?
And that venue was tight. We couldn't even get through the tables because there's so many people.
That was crazy. And then the next day we had how many people? I think we invited 350.
We invited 315. I think only 290 showed up.
Only 290, guys. That's another question that people always ask is, oh my gosh, you had an Indian wedding. Was it huge? It's like, I mean, yeah, but like
to American like wedding standards, I think it was kind of big. But
yeah, I would say so.
I think I've been to massive Indian weddings in America, and I'm like, wow, our wedding was pretty tiny compared to that one. You know what I mean?
I mean, it really was. Everybody that we had there we were very close to. I would say it was people that we really knew very well, honestly. And I think, again, this goes back to it being COVID times, and it made it really hard to travel. And a lot of people that we wanted there couldn't make it, unfortunately. But we had our people. But yeah, I would say we talked about this in the last episode, right? Like parents want to invite people that you don't always know. And so I would say that didn't really happen for us. We kind of knew everybody. And if there were people that we didn't know, they weren't able to show up.
I want to talk about some of the comparisons as well. Like we've already been talking about them, but I'm going to go through typical Indian wedding and the American wedding stuff. You have the multiple ceremonies in the Indian weddings.
Yeah.
You have the one ceremony in the American wedding.
So that could be like Christian, Catholic, like those are typically the ones that have one ceremony.
Duration of time, 2 to 4 days for the Indian wedding. American weddings, 1 day or a weekend, if you include the rehearsal dinner.
Or a few hours.
Guest size
before.
is 330 people plus on the Indian weddings. That's according to Wedding Wire, by the way. The cultural side of things, Indian weddings are mainly based behind family and some cultural rituals, whereas the American wedding is focused on the couple and less about how many people are there and who is there.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
I think because we film so many weddings, we shoot so many weddings, the number one topic of discussion is, hey, we can't let that person sit next to there. And hey, my stepdad can't know that this person's coming. And there's a lot of blended families, and it makes it very difficult for everybody to be friendly with each other. I would say 80% of the weddings that we shoot, we are like notified that this person can't be in the photo or this person, like we have to remember those things. So I'm just guessing that this is the majority of people in America have these high stress situations in their families that cause them to not be more family based. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, we've talked about that plenty of times before. Just the general mindset of Americans versus, for example, Indian people. It's very individual versus family oriented. And that's a trend that you see in weddings as well. And we've seen that so many times. It really is based on the couple. And that was something that I didn't understand until we had both weddings, where I felt like it was fully us one day. And then the next day we were like focused on our families. And it was such a cool shift for me to experience that. And just really see the importance of family. Obviously, you know how important family is, but seeing the dances that they spent so much time working on for us.
Seeing our dads hug, seeing our moms hug.
Seeing them hug and really embrace each other as part of the family. I mean, it just feels so special, right? Like watching that happen in front of you is just really, really cool. And our weddings, again, were so beautiful. I wouldn't change anything, except I would change. We needed to have chai at the wedding. Like,
that's one thing.
I didn't drink it back then, guys. Like, hello.
You know what? Going back to the wedding ceremonies, it would be so nice if there was more involvement on the groom's side of the family. Like whenever I go to an American wedding, it's always the father is handing the bride off to the groom, right? So he shakes his hand, they hug, he goes, sits down. But then the other side, like the groom's side, they're just sitting there, you know, like nobody's doing anything. And there's not like a time where they get involved. I wonder if that could be more incorporated in.
Well, let's take it back a second, because I've seen plenty of weddings where the groom's parents walk him up to the altar where they're getting married.
But I'm talking about like the families. Like if whenever the guy sits down, like let's say they hand off the bride, and then the groom's dad, instead of going back and sitting down, he goes to see the dad and it's like, hey, welcome to the family. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like sometimes people do. It's very
hit or miss for sure.
It is. Yeah. It depends on like if, you know, they're close or if they really want to do that. I've seen that done like once or twice. Yeah. And that's it.
But it'd be interesting to like see that more often.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely think it would be neat to see American styled weddings take on some more family oriented ceremony, or not ceremonies, but just aspects of the weddings, right? Because it is the family that helped the couple get there, right? And I mean, yeah, wedding is all about the couple, blah, 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 but it's also should be about the family that helped them get there and also probably pay for the wedding. I just think that'd be really cool, because after experiencing an Indian wedding and the feeling of unity so much more so than an American wedding, which they're both special in their own ways, right? Which it's cool that we were able to have both. A lot of people, you know, can't do that, or they choose not to do that, or whatever the situation is. And we're lucky that we got to experience both sides from something that we were both familiar with growing up, and actually seeing that blend, that unison between our families is a really beautiful thing.
Talking about paying for things, the cost when it comes to an Indian wedding, you have all the different venues. You have multiple events that you're paying for. You're paying for the decorations, the outfits. Oh my gosh, the jewelry, the gifts that you have to give to the aunts and uncles. You have all these things that you need to make sure that you're paying for on the American side. You have the venue, catering, decor, attire.
Lots of other things. Lots of other little things that kind of pop up along the way.
There is a little bit there and here and there. Even your groomsmen and bridesmaids have different costs that they have to pay for themselves. Whereas I think in a lot of Indian weddings, like all of that has to be paid up front by somebody, one person.
Oh.
Yeah, because you got to go get all the outfits and stuff.
The invitations.
Yeah, the invitations and all that.
Oh my gosh, do you remember ours arrived and there was something wrong with them?
So we had to go in and correct it by pen. All 300 of them, guys.
I was questioning my life when we're about 100 in. We're 100 invitations deep. And we're like, okay, cross this out. Oh, wait, I think we messed that one up. We got to fix that. It was something about the date. And it was a hot mess. Nevertheless, we got married. So It ended up working out.
I want to talk about the pros and cons now of each.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
Well, mainly the Indian weddings. Pros, that they are truly a celebration of the entire family. And everybody gets to enjoy it. There's a lot of cultural traditions, rituals, and everybody really remembers that specific wedding because of how grand it is. But on the cons, it's a massive financial burden. Massive. And I think...
Don't go too deep in the hole. I don't like that. I'm just like... never mind.
I think imagine what you as a brand new married couple could do with $200,000.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
You could go on a massive vacation and have a down payment for a brand new home. You could put a down payment on a massive home, invest it all. I mean, if you have $200,000 invested, like, you don't have to invest for a while. I mean, that's amazing.
Look at this finance.
So I'm just saying, like, there is so much, but then again, the people who are spending $200,000 on a wedding, they probably don't care.
But how okay, and yeah, granted, we didn't spend that much on our wedding, but
we spent a lot. I mean, both our parents spent a lot of money.
They did, and my dad's running joke is we had these camera-shaped cookies for our wedding. And the running joke is every time he talks about the cookies, he raises the price. So the first time he was like, oh, like here are the $200 cookies. Or now we're up to like $5,000. He's like, oh, here's the $5,000 camera cookies. But it's like, oh my God.
By the way, our Christian wedding was camera themed. And that was photography. Yeah. It was the coolest theme ever. We had like old cameras in the centerpieces and...
Which my parents found and collected throughout the year leading up to our wedding at like flea markets and garage sales and that sort of thing. So that was a really special little touch that we had.
The coolest. I think that is one thing. So like Indian weddings, they are so colorful. They're amazing. But at a certain point, they do start to look the same. Whereas I think with a lot of the American weddings that I've started to see. Because they're
smaller, that it's easier to put those little details in.
We've started to see themes. Like ours was a camera theme. There's some people had lemon theme. So there's lemons everywhere.
Oh, I've love those, yeah.
People who had like a zoo theme. There's zoo animals. And I'm like, what? That was crazy.
Yeah, so fun, by the way. Yeah. There was a wedding that we went to not that long ago, and it was at the zoo, and there was a tortoise that was just like visiting us. Like, how cool is that?
It was around.
So fun.
But there's definitely ways to make both very special. But I think there's pros and cons to each side.
Would you go through wedding planning again?
I don't care because I didn't do anything.
That's accurate. I was gonna say, actually, the real question is, Hallie, would you put yourself through wedding planning again? And it was stressful. Probably not. I am very lucky to have family that handled a lot of the Indian wedding for me, pretty much all of it, except for certain things. But I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So it was very helpful to have people, aka your sisters, have planned it and helped me and guided me because I didn't know what the heck was happening. It was a lot.
It was definitely a lot.
It was beautiful, but it was a lot.
But talking about planning, I want to talk about how we would help other people plan their Indian wedding or American Indian wedding if they were doing it right now.
Ooh, we actually kind of did help somebody, not help a lot, but we gave some advice.
So nowadays, if I had to give somebody advice and I was trying to help them save some money, I would say get most of it done within 2 days.
Oh, honey, the planning?
Have the wedding over 2 days.
Oh.
No, I'm giving advice on how to do the wedding.
I thought you said I would plan it in 2 days.
No.
I'm like, what?
No. So you're going to have the wedding in 2 days. So one day, if you're American and Indian and you want to have a traditional American wedding and a Hindu wedding or whatever wedding, it doesn't matter where.
Fusion weddings are so beautiful. Just want to say that.
You can have the ceremony in the same place at the same time. So have the Christian, whatever, one of them at one time and then the one right after. The only downside to this is that you only have one outfit for both ceremonies. So you have to pick. And then you could do a more American style dress at the reception. That's what we've started to see a lot of. And it saves a lot of money because you get the whole ceremony and reception done in one day. Mm-hmm. And then the previous day, you can do whatever you want. You can have the haldi event. You can have the rehearsal dinner. You could have the sangeet. You can do whatever the previous day. And that's not going to cost as much as the full wedding day because you're getting 2 weddings in one. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's my advice on it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think whatever makes sense for you and your budget and your significant other and the family, just really take that into account. I think we planned everything in a year. Would you say that's a realistic time frame for people planning a fusion wedding? What do you think about that?
Nowadays, everything gets booked pretty quick.
That's true. So like honestly,
people a year and a half.
A year and a half, 2 years.
If you're getting engaged, I would start immediately trying to book your photographer, videographer, your DJs, your venue.
We did those things first.
First of all, book the venue, then figure out everything else.
Yes.
Because it does get booked pretty quick, and weddings, as you can see, cost a lot of money. Yeah. So if you, let's say, get engaged in December and you wait till January, you're going to have to pay 2026 prices for your 2025 engagement.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So you don't want to do that.
I mean, we got engaged in 2020 and got married in 2021.
Yeah, but we started to pay for everything and sign contracts in 2020.
Yeah, we did.
And that saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, and truly, the first thing you got to book is the venue. Book the venue that you want, and then anything else you can just figure out. Because say if you like book, I don't know, your photographer, your DJ, you don't even have a date really planned for the venue that you want. Like, what if you book those people for that day? I've had people be like, oh yeah, I booked this and this and this, but I haven't done my venue. And I'm like, what? But you don't even know if that's a secure date for you or not. You haven't signed anything. You haven't done anything. So just do the venue first, guys. I promise. Especially if you're going to have a fusion wedding and you want to have a lot of people, that is very important to consider.
As photographers and videographers, if you don't have a venue booked, we will not book with you. So most photographers, videographers are the same way. They can't commit to something when it's the people who are hiring you haven't committed themselves. So that's just one thing you should definitely keep in mind.
Yes.
The one thing I wanted to mention before going into a question that I have for the audience, everybody listening, is what is like, I guess not question, but like what the advice that I have is when it comes to the compromises of the event, you will have to make compromises. You'll have to cut out some things. You have to shorten some things. You'll have to skip a different tradition that you've always done. You have to pick what's most important to you and just make it happen.
Why do you have to skip things?
Because they're just too long. Some things in the Indian like ceremonies are just too long.
We condensed
a lot.
We condensed the ceremony a lot.
Our Indian wedding, our ceremony was 2 hours long, which sounds like a long time, but we cut a lot out.
Which is crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
I think the best one I've seen is 45 minutes for an Indian ceremony.
Oh,
it was fantastic. It was done real quick. They cut out all the bluff?
Oh.
Bluff? No, not fluff. All the fluff.
Ah.
Sometimes, it does get boring. Yeah, you can cut it out.
It's important. Okay. It is important. That's not what we're saying. But especially if you're having like a fusion wedding, for example, it's important
You
to
don't got
have,
time for all that.
well, it's important to have somebody, especially if it's spoken in a different language and you don't understand what's going on, which, just want to note, the guy that we hired was supposed to speak in English. He did not do that.
No.
So I'm sitting there like, what?
Yeah, it was an
I'm
unfortunate
not mad,
there.
but I'm
It's
just
fine.
like, Suketu, what's happening?
I had to explain a lot. But
During the wedding, and we're just like, oh my gosh, the whole thing is on Facebook, everybody.
I have a question for you all, which is, if you were to choose a wedding, what would you do? Like, would you have a fusion wedding? Would you do a multi-day Indian wedding? Would you just do a typical American-styled wedding where it's one day, you get it done, 30-minute ceremony, 15 minutes if you're really efficient. But that is a question I have. I want to see them down below. And that's it, guys. Hopefully this helps you guys understand why Indian weddings are so expensive. There's just so many people. There's a lot of us Indians out there, you know?
There's just a lot that goes into it, right? And I think what it all comes down to ultimately is that there's so many amazing traditions that are typically done, and it's very family oriented. So each family member has a role in the wedding, which I think is something that a lot of other different kinds of weddings could adopt. I think that would be cool. Again, like you mentioned, if there were to be more family oriented things in different cultural or religious weddings, I think that could be really cool. So it all just comes down to that. But ultimately, I think fusion weddings are beautiful. They're definitely fun. They're really fun to go to as a guest. If you out there going to an Indian wedding or Indian American wedding or whatever it is, have fun. They're such a good time, and just go and eat some good food and catch a vibe and have fun.
And a reminder, go to www.halfpastchai.com to submit your own questions and stories. Half Past Crew, we thank you so much for you being here today. And as always, we'll see you next Monday at Half Past Chai. This chai was so good, I drink it so fast.
Do you want the rest of mine?
How dare you? These people are going to get mad at you. You don't like chai, do you?
Give me like a sip. I do, but...
Everybody, she's a fraud.
Oh my gosh.